Shalom, Yasharahla. Alright, first and foremost, I'd like to give all thanks, glory, honor, and praise to the Supreme Power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and salutation. Alright, to Allah, Akim, doing the works in sincerity and truth across the four winds. Shalom to the few sisters watching and learning. Stay strong and remain humble. This is the Brother Kazawan from the GMS Bahamas Camp. I got you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, with another lesson. Lord's willing, the lesson be edifying and serves a purpose. As you see the topic here, it says biometrics to replace stamps at EU border from the 12th of October. Alright, and as you can see, this article was written 5 days ago, showing you that the image of the beast is prevalent throughout the world right now. Alright, they're doing a worldwide push right now. Okay, considering that image of the image of the beast, because as we know, alright, they want everybody to be connected to the Internet of Things. Alright, and this is basically posturing. Alright, getting everybody comfortable, alright, with biometrics. Alright, so they could put that finishing move on you, alright, which is the RFID microchip. Alright. Well, this is part of the image of the beast. I read the topic again. It says biometrics to replace stamps at the EU border from the 12th of October. Alright. As I read the article, it says stamps in people's passport will be replaced by biometric checks for people traveling in and out of the European Union from the 12th of October. Officials have confirmed. The entry/exit system, the EES, will replace the current paper checks and will mean passengers from the United Kingdom will need to have their fingerprints and face scanned to cross the European Union border. Okay? And we know what we can relate this is. We can relate this to scripture, left, right, and center. But like I said, this is the image of the beast. Alright? Which brings me to the book of Second Esdras. Second Esdras 15 and 17, which reads, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Alright, now we know this is when the Great Tribulation, we know this is pertaining to the Great Tribulation, alright, but we can assess this again. Alright, this is a small microcosm, alright, of people not being able to travel as freely as possible. But like I said, this is a part of that beast system, alright, being ushered in, alright, which we already under, but they basically intensifying it. Alright, this Revelation 18 and 15. It reads, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that many as not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now, of course, we know in the end, alright, in the times to come, a lot of our people are going to be martyred for this truth. Alright, but this is a small microcosm stating that if you don't have your face or your face or your fingerprint biometrically scanned, you can't enter back into your home country. Those of us who live, alright, in the European Union, and this is only for the so-called Native Americans, Negroes, and Latinos. Alright, Israel and the speckled bird scattered across the four winds, because this thing don't go with skin color, and this thing don't go with looks. Alright, this is for our people. We do these lessons for our people. So this is another way that the beast is coming down. Alright, that the system is coming down on our people. Alright, because their people is only collateral damage. They only there to basically wipe out. Alright, they try to wipe out or try to make life as difficult. Alright, for Jake, you so-called Native Americans, Negroes, and Latinos. Now they're saying that you have, alright, to be biometrically compatible, alright, with that EU system if you live in that European Union area. Alright. Say the scheme will be rolled out across member nations over 6 months, meaning it will not be fully implemented until April 10, 2026. Alright, so that's next year. It was due to come into effect last November, but has being beset by technological delays. Alright, so there's that device, alright, that the Most High Power Yahweh should be ain't allowing to come to fruition. Alright. Most High charge everything. As I read, it says, under the new system, non-European Union citizens, including people from the UK, will need to register their biometric data along with their passport details to enter an EU country. All right. And we know this has little hints and little sprinklings of the RFID microchip, because we know on that RFID microchip, all right, all your passport information, all right, and all your other information, personal information, will be stored on that one chip, all right, and which we know that RFID microchip is the mark of the beast, all right, according to the book of Revelations 13 and 16 to 18, all right. Read it again. It says, under the new system, the non-EU citizens, including people from the United Kingdom, will need to register their biometric data along with their passport details to enter an EU country. All right, so everybody have to comply with this if you want to enter, all right, them European Union's countries. All right, which brings me to the book of Second Thessalonians, because this man, he wants to be like the Most High so bad, or he wants to know your every movement, or he wants to know what's going on inside and outside of your body, or your daily movements, your finances, your biometrical numbers, or your health numbers. But I know everything but you, because he think that he is the Most High power, Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. All right, but the Lord have him right inside that trick bag, all right, having him right where he wants him. But this is the book of Second Thessalonians, chapter 2 and 3. It reads, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there be a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Alright, and that man of sin has been revealed, alright, a long time ago. We already know the mask is already off. Esau Edom, alright, the wicked, alright, the so-called white man, Mount Seir. Alright, we already know who they is, alright, from the Hellenization of our people in 70 AD straight to now, okay, he's already been revealed, alright, that man of sin, alright, the son of perdition, so here we know who that is. Verse 4 reads, who oppose and exalted himself above all that is called Yahweh, alright, he think, alright, that God-like complex have him thinking that he's on the same level with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's why Yahweh Bashem Yahushai have him in the trick bag, because he's only digging a pit for his own self. Who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called Yahweh, or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is power. Alright? So that's what he think. The Most High power Yahweh Bashem Yahushai have him in the trick bag. Alright? And what he's trying to do is get all your biometrical information, trying to get all your information, trying to get you to comply with scanning your hand and your face. Just want to get that biological information from you to connect you to the Internet of Things, or which that RFID would be the finishing move, like they say. Alright? Just getting people compatible like used to. Alright? Slow dancing them to the mark of the beast. Alright? It says anyone who refuses to provide biometric data will be denied entry into the EU. Alright? So, alright, when he say he means all, when the scripture said, as a matter of fact, look at Revelation 13 and 16, because that's how it's going to be when they really come down with that mark of the beast. Alright? You have to know to read between the lines in these articles and apply them to scripture. That's second address 9 and 1 states. Alright, we have to measure the times diligently. Alright? How do we measure the times? Alright, by these world events and by these things with the so-called white man is pushing out and lining them up in scripture. Alright, because the Most High power Yahweh, but shouldn't this the Most High movie. Alright, he in charge. Alright? It says anyone who refuses to provide that biometrical data will be denied entry into the European Union. Alright? And Revelations 13 and 16 says, right? And he causing all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive that mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and all means all. Okay, so nobody's going to be exempted from the baby to the breast, straight down to the man and the woman stooped down with age, all right, to the elderly. All right, nobody's going to be exempted. All right. Verse 70 says, and that no man might buy or sell save he had that Toragma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. All right, and as it goes along, all right, now you can't enter into the country. Later on, when the biometrical subdermal, when the implant, when the Karagma gets introduced, you're not going to be able to buy, sell, or survive in society. All right, the only way you're going to be able to do that is through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shemir Shai. All right. Verse 18, here is wisdom, let him that had understanding count the number of the beast. What is the number of a man? And his number is 603 score and 6. All right. So this is the way that we're headed. All right. The biometrics are going to be known by a barcode. They type that barcode in, look at their computer, and your name come up, and they'll be able to do whatever they want to with you. Take away your finances. All right. Send a little shock to your system, causing something to go wrong. All right. They want to digitally enslave you. All right. Get a little bit more, then I can close it down. It says the data will also be collected at the point of departure, either at an airport, port, or train station, where there will be dedicated booths for scanning fingerprints and taking a photo. This record will then be valid 3 years, and means on later trips, borders and border officers will only need to verify a person's biometrics, which the European Union hopes will take less time. People with e-passports will also be able to use the e-gates. There is no cost for the EES registration. All right, so they can make it look convenient, and they can make it seem seamless, and they can make it seem like it's a necessary thing. All right, it's a necessary thing, or it's basically for convenience, making like travel easier, making life easier. Not knowing this is basically a trap. All right, this is a trap. All right, but Esau Edom, once again, we know that Esau Edom is a cannon hunter. All right, and like I say, this is only for you so-called Native Americans, Negroes, and Latinos. That's basically who we targeted. All right, but the scripture says here in Micah 2:1, woe to them that devise iniquity and wait evil upon their beds. When morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands. All right, and they control the narrative. All right, so this is what they're doing to imply, all right, the image of the beast, their philosophies, the way that they digitally try to enslave you, how they trying to trick Jake into taking the mark of the beast. All right. So just a little short lesson, Lord's willing, that was edifying. All right, do not take that Karagma. All right, be aware. All right, of this roaring lion. All right, because he ready to pounce any which way he could. All right, his plan is to take down the majority of so-called Native Americans, Negroes, and Latinos. All right, but the elected of Yahweh by Shemir Shai isn't going to take it. All right, so with that, I'd like to give all thanks, glory, honor, and praise to the supreme power, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem Kadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of the good steward. Peace and salutation to the hope for the night. Till we meet again, this is Brother Castle, one closing out. Shalom, Abad, Rabal, and Ban-Yasharahla.